Hello, and thank you for joining us today in our study of the book of Mark. Today we're in Mark chapter 9, and we're actually going to cover the latter portion of the chapter, beginning in verse number 30. In the first sections of the chapter, we've looked at several different events that take place and several different teaching areas that take place with Jesus' interactions. And yet, at the latter section, we have him coming back to Capernaum, and there's going to be several more teaching points and several more discussions that are going to take place here. It's not a lengthy reading today, but there are several things of interest and importance that are found in the latter sections of this chapter. So let's look at what it is that we find in Mark 9, beginning in verse 30. There we read, "Then they departed from there and passed through Galilee, and he did not want anyone to know it. For he taught his disciples and said to them, The Son of Man is being betrayed into the hands of men, and they will kill him. And after he is killed, he will rise the third day. But they did not understand this saying, and were afraid to ask him. Then he came to Capernaum, and when he was in the house, he asked them, What was it you disputed among yourselves on the road? But they kept silent, for on the road they had disputed among themselves who would be the greatest. And he sat down, called the 12, and said to them, If anyone desires to be first, he shall be last of all and servant of all. Then he took a little child and set him in the midst of them. And when he had taken him in his arms, he said to them, Whoever receives one of these little children in my name receives me, and whoever receives me receives not me, but him who sent me. Now John answered him, saying, Teacher, we saw someone who does not follow us casting out demons in your name, and we forbade him because he does not follow us. But Jesus said, Do not forbid him, for no one who works a miracle in my name can soon afterward speak evil of me. For he who is not against us is on our side. For whoever gives you a cup of water to drink in my name, because you belong to Christ, assuredly, I say to you, he will by no means lose his reward. But whoever causes one of these little ones who believe in me to stumble, it would be better for him if a millstone were hung around his neck and he were thrown into the sea. If your hand causes you to sin, cut it off. It is better for you to enter into life maimed than having two hands to go to hell, into the fire that shall never be quenched, where their worm does not die, and the fire is not quenched. And if your foot causes you to sin, cut it off. For it is better for you to enter life lame than having 2 feet to be cast into hell, into the fire that shall never be quenched, where their worm does not die, and the fire is not quenched. And if your eye causes you to sin, pluck it out. It is better for you to enter the kingdom of God with one eye, rather than having 2 eyes to be cast into hell fire, where their worm does not die, and the fire is not quenched. For everyone will be seasoned with fire, and every sacrifice will be seasoned with salt. Salt is good, but if the salt loses its flavor, how will you season it? Have salt in yourselves, and have peace with one another. There are several things to bring out from this particular section of the book of Mark, and several of the teachings of Jesus here that are very important for us to understand. So next time when we come back, we will look at some of these things in some detail. And obviously we won't be able to get to everything in this text, but we will certainly try to hit some of the important areas of the text in our discussion of Mark chapter 9. I hope you'll join us then. But until then, have a great day.